You must be a grown-up to watch this video. Viewer discretion is advised. Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel. So glad that you are here with me. My name's Gavin. This is my channel. We like to cut through fluff. We like to cut through sensationalism here on YouTube in the true crime space. We like to get into the nitty-gritty of things. Of course, we're not always perfect about that. Sometimes we speculate, and sometimes we do engage in the fluffification of true crime, but we do our best not to. Tonight we are doing our second video on the disappearance of 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and her brother, 4-year-old Jack Sullivan. On May 2nd, they went missing. They are from the Lansdowne Station area of Nova Scotia. Just kind of bring you over to where this is in the world. Give me a second. Bring you over here. Way up here in Nova Scotia, this is where they hail from. Now, you can see that this is a sparsely populated area, very rural part of Eastern Canada. And I think the official story, at least the one that I like to believe, now we've got lots of theories out there, right? But first off, let me just send a hearty thank you to my research team while I took the day off yesterday to go to a little band concert for the kiddos. They filled me up with information on this case. And like I said last time, it's really hard sometimes to get into a case for the first time when you're kind of a week or two behind. So I'm really grateful to all of you who have been patient with me while I have caught myself up on this case. This is a case, though. Man, this is a case. What I hope happened. No, it's not what I hope happened. What I believe happened is I think there's probably been an abduction here. And and there might be some of you that are screaming at your screens right now, saying, no way, the stepdad did it, or the mom did it, or something else, or they were eaten by wildlife. I don't know. But to me, that's what it looks like. It looks like an abduction. And I don't want to bury the lead here. We have an update on the case. It came out yesterday. Of course, I'm a day late and $1 short on this, but I want to share with you the update from the RCMP. Come on over with me to ye ol' Acrobat here. This came out yesterday. The Pictou County District RCMP, with the assistance of the Northeast Nova Scotia, I guess, RCMP Major Crime Unit, continue to investigate the disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan. By the way, thank you to those of you who corrected me on the spelling. The spelling of Lily's name has been Lily in a lot of places. I followed that because I thought that was the official thing. No, her name is spelled in the typical way, Lily. So in the disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan, quote, we're exploring all avenues in this missing persons investigation, says Staff Sergeant Curtis McKinnon, Pictou County District RCMP. Quote, we have officers from multiple disciplines dedicated to find Lily and Jack, including highly trained RCMP major crime and forensic investigators. They go on. To date, this is not a quote, more than 180 tips have been received from the public and are being followed up on. Officers have so far identified 35 people for formal interviews. Sorry, don't mean to swallow water right in the microphone there. 35 people for formal interviews as part of the investigation, including community members and those closest to the children. Now, what might this mean? Does this mean they have 35 suspects? I don't think so. I think what it means is they're trying to gather information on the children. Anybody who might know them. There might be a couple people of interest in there. There might be a couple suspects in there. But I think probably the 35 people for formal interviews are mostly people who might have some idea of what Lily and Jack what they may have done. Okay. Including family members, those closest to the children. And on May 8th and 9th, the RCMP's underwater recovery team scoured bodies of water around Lansdowne Station. The underwater recovery team's 2-day operation didn't uncover any evidence. I think this, again, kind of goes toward supporting my opinion, and it's only my opinion, that this might be an abduction case. Quote, "We continue to work day and night on this file," says Staff Sergeant McKinnon. "Like all Nova Scotians, we want answers and we want to know what happened to these children." And then it just does a quick recap. On May 2nd, approximately 10 a.m., Pictou County District RCMP received a report that Lily and Jack were missing. They were believed to have wandered away from their home on Garlick Road. A multi-agency search and missing persons investigation began immediately. The search, which was scaled back to specific areas on May 7th, has covered 5.5 square kilometers of heavy wood. I think that's a little over 3 square miles. Heavily wooded rural terrain in the Garlick Road area. It has involved up to 160 trained volunteer searchers and many others, and tens of thousands of search hours. Efforts to locate Lily and Jack also included 2 vulnerable missing persons alerts. Apparently there is the family wanted Amber Alerts because they wanted to go far and wide throughout the whole country. Apparently there are certain criteria that must be met, and each criterion wasn't met, I guess, so they did not do Amber Alerts. Anyone with information on the whereabouts of Lily and Jack is asked to contact Pictou County District RCMP at 902-485-4333. To remain anonymous, contact Nova Scotia Crime Stoppers toll-free at 1-800-222-TIPS. Submit a secure web tip at crimestoppers.ns.ca or use the P3 Tips app. And then it says, "Our thoughts continue to be with the children's loved ones and the community at this difficult time." Okay, let me show you a couple of, I guess, news media reports that feature some conversations specifically with Daniel Martel, the stepfather. Okay, I'm just gonna. These are old. These are like a week old, but I wanna go over it a little bit. By the way, we've learned a little bit, or at least I have learned a little bit more about the children's parents, Malia Brooks Murray, Daniel Martel. They seem to be a cohabitating couple. They're partnered with one another. They have multiple children. I believe that he had 2 before, she had 2 before, and then they have 1 together, I think is kind of where we are. Maybe you can help me on the comments right there to help me out. Maybe the 3 younger children are both theirs. I'm not sure. But yeah, this is a little family living in rural Nova Scotia. We got some photos of the home. I'd like to know your opinion on the home. I do know that in very rural areas, there are things that you just don't throw out, or you don't have the resources to throw out, or the services to throw them out. To me, this place does look, it does look like a place that kind of screams Child Protective Services, if you know what I mean. mean, but again, I want to extend a little bit of grace here. In fact, this picture is probably, that's the sliding door, the back door that they believe that Lily and Jack walked out of. But at the same time, I do know that people live differently in different places, and we are really out in the woods here, right? Let me go back out here. I mean, we are in very rural Canada here, very rural Canada. So I guess I probably should withhold my judgment on this. It does seem to me like this is a place where authorities might be concerned, I guess, is what I'm saying. And you're welcome to disagree with me on that. I'm trying to be as respectful as possible to Lily and Jack's folks. I really don't know much about them. I can't imagine the situation they're in. I don't get the feeling that we have another Stephen Stearns, Jennifer Soto situation here. I don't get that feeling at all. My feeling is we've got an abduction. So let's go over to this video. This is from, I want to say, let me see. Yeah, this is from the 6th. So a little over a week ago. Let's have a listen.
We were searching. We covered everywhere possible. Even in the first day we did. Even with me running through the woods, I was ahead of the helicopters and ahead of the drones and stuff like that. Screaming as loud as I can, just until my throat hurt. Running through water that was up to my waist. And as soon as I got back, I wasn't allowed back in the woods until a man dressed in a military outfit said I could go back into the woods.
4 days into the search for his missing stepkids, Lily
that looked real to me. That looked completely real to me. And I am ready to be wrong about that. Like, I'm ready to be wrong about it. Just my immediate reaction to that is a panicked stepdad.
Sullivan, Daniel Martel is pleading with the public to keep their eyes peeled, but he has begun to lose hope they are anywhere in the vicinity.
They hate being wet and cold, so they immediately would have came right back into the house. The only 2 prints are right beside the house facing the road, and then that's it.
He said the only 2 prints. Keep in mind here, guys, and I think this is pretty darn important. These are hardy people living in rural Canada. They likely are hunters. They likely, they eat what they kill kind of people. And he said the only 2 prints were facing the road. That means he was looking for those kinds of things. He was looking for any sight of the kids. I'll keep going.
Martel wants the search to be extended to include provincial borders in case the children were abducted, a reality he says is becoming more and more likely.
Post any officers they can get at the New Brunswick border, PI border, and get them at every airport possible.
Martel confirmed that when the 2 children went missing from the home behind me, Lily was wearing a pink shirt and pink rain boots. She was also carrying a white backpack with strawberries on it. Martel says although he didn't see Jack that morning, he is believed to be wearing a brown shirt, brown pants with a pull-up diaper on underneath, and blue rain boots with dinosaurs on them. He also refuted the claim that the 2 children are nonverbal, saying while they are on the autism spectrum, they are quite trusting and say hi to everyone. According to Martel, his side of the family are currently the only ones at Ground Zero after Lily and Jack's mother left the county Saturday. But still, he remains, begging anyone with answers to come forward and bring his children home safe.
Anybody who has any information, or you think you've seen something or hear something, or any messages from friends about hearing something, just contact your local police services.
Again, that seems like a reasonable. This to me seems like it is the behavior of a person who is concerned about his missing children. It doesn't seem like he is more concerned about himself, about hiding something. It doesn't look Doesn't look like he's self-concerned. He's concerned about the kids.
Anything, guys. Anything.
Ella MacDonald, Global News, Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia.
Okay, so that was the first one. And then the next one I want to show you is from the following day. So this is the 7th, exactly a week ago. Again, this shows some, a little bit of Mr. Martel.
6 days after 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan disappeared from their home in rural northeastern Nova Scotia, the RCMP announced today their search for the two siblings is being scaled back, saying there's little chance they are alive.
Day before yesterday.
CBC's Blair Rhodes joins us now live from the search area in Pictou County with the latest. Blair.
Tom, the mood here was solemn as the searchers were told that despite their best efforts, they were scaling back the search. Before the news conference, RCMP told Jack and Lily's family, their stepfather, Daniel Martel, said he's not giving up.
I'm still holding out hope. I don't know why they didn't find anything from Jack's pull-up to her backpack or any of her belongings at all. They just haven't found anything.
Now, while the family may have some hope, the police say that after 6 days of often extreme conditions, the children were still in the woods, they wouldn't be alive. So now they said it came down to a question of survivability.
And a number of factors would have to take consideration, and they would, based upon scientific information that they have, to deem when that time has to come, and that is now. And a lot of those factors come into play.
Really,
would be
the reason I'm showing you this is
the missing persons,
Daniel Martel.
the weather, how long it's been, what area has been covered.
This isn't new news, of course.
At that point, they have to make a decision on that.
And I think that might be it.
Now, from the very beginning...
Let me see. Yeah, that might be it. Let me just scrub back to this part.
I'm still holding out hope. I don't know why they didn't find anything from Jack's pull-up to her backpack or any of her belongings at all. They just haven't found anything.
So that's the part. Okay, so he brings up a very important point, and it's still true. I mean, he did that interview a week ago, but it still holds up. If they have not, there's no evidence that they've found, that we know of anyway, that Lily and Jack were in the woods. No pull-up diaper, no her backpack, their clothing. In fact, I don't even think that they found any type of prints or anything like footprints or anything like that. And then put in that with the other thing that he said, which was, I went looking for them. I was ahead of everybody. Let me go back here and play it again.
We were searching.
He talks about the prints
covered everywhere
pointing
possible.
to the road.
Even in the first day, we did. Even with me running through the woods, I was ahead of the helicopters and ahead of the drones and stuff like that. Screaming as loud as I can, and just until my throat hurt. Running through water that was up to my waist. And as soon as I got back, I wasn't allowed back in the woods until a man dressed in a military outfit said I could go back into the woods.
4 days into the search for his missing stepkids, Lily and Jack Sullivan, Daniel Martel is pleading with the public to keep their eyes peeled. But he has begun to lose hope they are anywhere in the vicinity.
They hate being wet and cold, so they immediately would have came right back into the house. The only two prints are right beside the house facing the road, and then that's it.
They hate being wet and cold. They would have come right back into the house. I just caught what he was saying there. And then the only prints that he found, footprints he's talking about, I think, are pointing toward the road. I guess what he's saying, plus his comportment, which to me is completely natural.
Martel wants the search to be extended to include provincial borders in case the children were abducted.
He's
a reality
asking
he
for
says
help
is
from the
becoming more and
police.
more likely.
Post any officers they can get at the New Brunswick border, PI border, and get them at every airport possible.
Martel can
Like this is the natural comportment of somebody. I think, unless he's the world's greatest actor, I think that this is a case of the children having been taken. So that's my opinion. I would really love to hear your opinion. And I'd love to hear your opinions on the 35 people that they say that they're going to bring in for official interviews. So let's go. I'm going to cut through. One Man's Trash says, Gavin, let's bring up our kiddos here. I have absolutely no idea what happened. I usually have some kind of gut feeling. Nothing. I got nothing. That's where I was last time. So, yeah. Oh, Tanya brings up something very interesting. The fact that dogs lost their scent at the road makes me believe abduction too. Like if there is a person with nefarious intent against children, and they're driving down the road and they see two children walking on the road. And they look and they're like, nobody's going to see this. We're out in the middle of Egypt land. I can just see that happening. I can just see it happening. And it makes me wonder, I mean, I'm sure police are ahead of us on this, but it makes me wonder what kind of police live in that area, or not police, what kind of people live in that area that might have criminal records, that sort of stuff. I'm sure that's where they go first. I just, the stepdad to me does not give off the vibe of somebody who is guilty of a terrible crime. And I have to say, because I'm late to the party, right? I went to look for, there apparently is footage of Malia speaking. I can only find little snippets of it, and because this case has taken on such interest in social media, myself included, right? There's so many videos that have been made that I've scrolled through hundreds of them. I can't find the original footage. I know that it exists because I saw it on Gisla's channel. Saw it on Grizzly. So if anybody happens to have that link, send it my way. Well, you go to gavinfish.com and click on the little envelope. Okay, Michael Green Chili Chicken. Gavin, what makes me suspicious of the mom and stepdad are the inconsistencies. The big one, they said the kids were verbal, and family said they were nonverbal. They reported in that last video that we looked at that he confirmed they were verbal, but they are on the autism spectrum. That makes me, like putting my reporter hat on, I am skeptical. If those two things, that inconsistency is there, the skeptical hat is on. There are a couple of different answers to that question, right? Possibilities. One, it could be that the children are verbal and the family does not think that they are. Maybe they're super shy around people. For example, we have a friend, I'm not going to give away any like super private information here. We have a family friend whose son did not start speaking until I think he was about 5. And they worked through lots of therapy and stuff like that. Well, it turned out that he was speaking in the home way before he was speaking outside of the home, or when big, hairy guys like me were in the home, kind of intimidating, big adults. I never witnessed him speaking until many months, maybe close to a year after he actually started to speak with his family in the home. So I think you're right to be suspicious if those inconsistencies exist. There are other explanations besides they're right and they're wrong, I guess is what I'm saying, Michael. But great comment. True crime and celebrity news. The missing person poster out of Canada. It's spelled Lily. Yeah, I've seen that. And then I have seen that it's been corrected on at the RCMP's website. So I'm going with what the RCMP says, I guess. Single Mom True Crime, welcome. Welcome. Barb Science says, Gavin, where I live, this is normal. I think maybe you're talking about the house when I was asking. So I live in rural Pennsylvania, and there are places in rural Pennsylvania where this is typical. Certainly not in my neighborhood, but when you get out into the woods, yeah, it's that way. In fact, Kimberly and I joke, you can always tell an Amish farm because it's clean, it's tidy. The non-Amish, those of us who are non-Amish, tend to look more like this. So yeah, it might be. Built to help art. Gavin, YouTube doesn't want my opinion of this home. I grew up poor. So my parents, like many people, had their ups and downs financially speaking, right? Like many people, like myself, had their ups and downs financially speaking. There was a time when we lived in a single wide trailer, my mom and dad, 5 kids. I think the oldest was probably 9th grade and the youngest was, she was probably 4 or something like that when we were living there. 3, 4 years old. So, and I think at the time, I think we qualified as poor. We certainly weren't rich, that's for sure. But our place did not look like this because it was my mom. My mom kept a place. It was tidy. The lawn was mowed. The property behind where we didn't mow it had horses on it that would graze it down. Yeah. And we had like outbuildings, like chicken coops. We had a little area where the steers were. It's like my brothers raised a couple steers for 4-H. It was chickens. It was clean and tidy. But we were in a place with services with trash pickup and stuff like that. So I just don't know. Susie Mom said this place is atypical of rural Nova Scotia. It's atypical. Cassie, that house is giving Summer Wells vibes. Lori says, or looks low income to me. Yeah, what I'm getting at is the mess. That's what I'm getting at. Like, we were broke, and lived in a trailer, and we were in the rural Western United States, but it didn't look like that. I'm not sure. I'm grateful for your comments on that. One Man's Trash says he seems real to me also. Starflower disagrees with me. Gavin, this was not an abduction in my opinion. The house was known as a party house, and they had a party Wednesday or Thursday night before the children went missing. I think this was an accident. I haven't read anything. Now, I'm not saying what you're saying is untrue. I'm just saying I haven't read anything about the party aspect of it. So maybe you could send some information my way. If guys, if you ever have any tips or anything you want to talk to me about, if you head over to the website and click this little envelope up in the corner, that's going to take you over to this page where you can contact me. They all come through. I get them all. I don't respond. I respond to a very small part of it, but if you have tips, I can forward it on to my team who can investigate them. So if that is the case, I'd love to know it. Would love to know it. Okay. I can't remember how that connects, Art, to what I was saying, but thanks. Panda Ann, Gavin, I'm getting Summer Wells vibes. This is going to be a whodunit and why. Don't know if they're involved or maybe people they associate themselves with, or maybe just an act of opportunity. It's horrifying to think about that way. Starflower says, or the children were taken as payment. So one of the things that I suspected in this, especially hearing that they were like in the other room asleep, is that there were illicit drugs and things like that. That's what I was suspecting anyway. But when I look at him, how do I say this? I want to be respectful, especially you guys know when it comes to substance abuse, I am sympathetic, man. In fact, I'm working on a story right now at my day job as a reporter about homelessness in our area. I'm sympathetic to substance abuse because, you know, if you make one mistake, and sometimes it's not even your mistake, sometimes it's your doctor's mistake, you can become addicted, and then the rest of your life you're chasing that, right? You're trying not to be sick. I typically can pick out somebody who is an abuser of illicit substances. It's possible that Daniel Martel is. It's possible that Malia Brooks Murray is, but they don't give off that vibe to me. I mean, yeah, they just don't give it off to me. I'm not an expert though. I'm just a layperson. But if that is the case, they're taking his payment. That is horrifying. Susie's mom said he's afraid to get caught. Yeah. I think the two kids missing are his stepkids. The baby is the couple's child. I think you're right. Meredith, do we know if there's any surveillance in the area? Meredith, this is a great question. And let me tell you something here. When we look at where this is, we might say to ourselves, there is no chance that there's any surveillance out there, right? These are the woods. However, there is a case that I'm reporting on locally to Western Pennsylvania. It was a pregnant Amish woman who was brutally murdered. They caught their suspect because he was caught on video in Amish country where you would just not expect any kind of video cameras, but there was a sportsman's club out there that had cameras, and they're situated on a corner kind of across the street from where the crime took place. So it's possible that the police are going through and getting ring cameras or security footage. I have not heard if they have any or not. I have a feeling that we won't hear about it unless there's a preliminary hearing or something like that. Great comment. Great comment. Let's see. Oh yeah, Graciela down under, or Uruguaya down under. My girlfriend has a 3-year-old, and we talk on the phone as he loves to call me my Grace, and this hits home. My 3 grown children now in their 30s, but anything with children breaks our hearts. Yeah, that is the thing. I mean, look at these kiddos, man. They're just little kids. They've got. Look at that beautiful little girl in her little graduation cap and gown. It was probably kindergarten. Everything ahead of her. And yeah, and that little boy just sitting there for the school portrait, the obligatory school portrait, man. Golly, yes, that it's heartbreaking. It is. Idea Delight says, I think they had a lot of info on what exactly the kids were wearing. I would like to see if he had any tears and needs a Kleenex. It says a lot either way. So in the videos that we watch where he's working to get information out and he's kind of choking up, I do feel like that is real. I really do. Has anything been said about the children's biological father? If it has, I haven't read it yet. Anna says, thanks for bringing this to us. It just breaks my heart. Loves the intro too. Yeah, Baby Gavin, you know what? Baby Gavin is letting it go to his head. I'll tell you that. He's getting a little puffed up, little full of himself, thinking that he's all that. He probably needs to calm down. Baby Gavin. Let's see him. Give me a second. You must be a grown-up to watch. Look at that video. Face. He's just full of himself. Viewer discretion is advised. Full of himself. That guy. Hey, listen, we take the crimes that we cover seriously. We take the victims seriously. We take the law seriously. What we do not take seriously is ourselves. Okay, Tracy talks. Gavin, the dad's words never seem to be about the kids. It's about the things he's doing to find them. Like he's trying to prove something. He's choking up, seemed real, though, so who knows? Yeah, and remember, that was an edited news snippet. We didn't see the whole thing. That very well could have been a question, hey, what have you done? And he could have answered, well, I ran through the woods. I've been in waist deep water. I was ahead of the helicopters. Me. And that is very different than, say, like the long videos that we saw of Stefan Stearns where everything seemed to be about him. I was a great stepfather. She loved me so much. She confided in me. We talked all the time. That sort of stuff. So I would really love to see or talk to Mr. Martel in like a long form kind of interview to see if that is the way he is. From what I can tell from these short ones, it's not. But again, like you said, who knows, right? It just refreshed. Give me a second. Let me get back to where I was. Goodness sakes. I just missed it. Susan Lewis, Gavin, if they didn't find anything, not even prints, someone took them. It would be easy to pick up two small, trusting children and take them anywhere. Yeah, especially if they're extremely trusting. They're on the autism spectrum. I think you're right. Tanya says, he also said before that Jack hates having a wet pull-up and would have taken it off. So where is the pull-up? Yeah. History of Haunted Oregon. Whoa. I think we all need to go to the channel of History of Haunted Oregon. Ooh, a little creepy. Want to check that out. He's not acting like Jen Soto, says History. Night and day difference. Yeah, I agree. And I know that the mom, Malia, has left the area, left the county. Again, okay, so I'm curious about it. I want to know why, but I'm not going to just jump to the conclusion that it means that she's guilty of something. There are a lot of good explanations for why a person might do that. Maybe just brokenheartedness is one of them. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot. There's a lot. Robin Bernardi says, my logic is that an abduction is possible, but not likely. Ah, Robin, I'd like to hear the not likely part. Emily 53, have the guests been interviewed that were at the party the night before? I have not seen those interviews, no. And if there was a party the night before, then I would imagine that's part of the 35 people that police want to talk to. Vive or Vivi, RN. Gavin, I agree on your perception of Dad. I can't help wonder if the mom has something to do with it. Did she have someone grab the kids with plans of leaving the dad? She left so fast. Well, that's interesting. Because, what an interesting theory. Again, this is speculation. Hopefully it's not sensational and fluffy. But say Say Malia was leaving. Total speculation here, guys. Say Malia is leaving, and I don't need these anymore. And she has somebody pick up the kids and then can't admit to it to his face, and then it just snowballs out of control before she can get ahead of it. Yeah, that's possible. I don't know what the probability is, though. I feel like police would break through that pretty quickly if there was some sort of ruse like that. I feel like police would get a handle on that pretty quickly. Very interesting theory. Kelsey posted in Slack the Malia interview. Hang on just a second, guys. Let's... Kelsey has been one of like the researcher extraordinaire. Let me see if I can find this real quick. All right. Kelsey. Ah, Kelsey, you are on it, man. All right, here we go. You are the best. Let's see what we can get here. I'm just going to come on over here.
I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home. What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep. And they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them. And they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet.
I know the volume's
low. I get
low.
up and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, "Do you hear the kids?" And he says, "No." And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call. They're both really go-lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They will speak to anyone in a store. Everyone. They're just extremely sweet kids. I appreciate the huge search effort going on right now. But we've been pushing for an Amber Alert, which hasn't been issued. Not just that they could possibly be abducted, which it is a possibility that they could have been, but just an alert to let everyone know that they are missing. We had people text me saying that they weren't aware someone else let them know that they were missing, and it would just be nice if everyone could be alerted. We thought maybe that we found tracks, but it's still uncertain. It's been raining and they're probably soaking wet, but with the sun today, I'm hopeful that they are feeling warm. We're all filled with pain and sorrow because we just want them found. We want them home. Everyone loves them. They are definitely verbal, and they do have possible autism, but it's not extreme autism. It's just they have issues with school, and they don't catch up with the other kids. I just want to remain hopeful. But there's always, in a mother's mind, you're always thinking the worst. Last night was one of the worst nights because I didn't have them in their beds. And I don't want to go through that another night without them.
Okay, I know the volume was really low. Thanks, Kelsey. Oh my goodness, thank you so much for that. I know the volume was really low. I have a different perspective on Malia. Yeah. You know, how do I put this? I don't even know if I want to say this out loud. Oh my goodness. That didn't sound like a terribly concerned mother to me. She was saying the right words, but how do I say, like, the timbre of her voice was kind of off, was wrong for me. The attitude, the layers seemed a little off to me. I mean, my spidey senses are tingling on this, on her. On stepdad, I don't have any tingling spidey senses at all. Like, he's getting choked up the way I would, right? Where you are trying to push through and like your throat just comes up to the top of your head. Like he's pushing through those things. And she's just saying, I was really sad last night. They weren't in their bed. I don't want to go through that again. Your children are supposedly in the wilderness. That's a little off to me. Now, it could be a lot of things, but yeah, I've got a tingly spidey sense on her. Thank you for that, Kelsey. Thank you so much. Let's come back over to comments. In fact, I think, yeah, I have a different feelings about Mom. She says the mother leaving the area bothers me. You couldn't have dragged me out of there with my kid's disappearance. Yeah, like, I always go back to my own experiences, right? So I think I was about 7 or 8. We were on a family trip. It was a trip to Disneyland from northern Utah. We went all the way over, or we went all the way down through Las Vegas, down into the LA basin to Disneyland Knott's Berry Farm. You should have seen, it was my cousins, it was my grandparents, my brothers and sisters, my parents. We were a motley crew, and we had worked hard to earn the money to do this huge family trip where we were like camping in KOAs and stuff. But when we were in Las Vegas, we went to Circus Circus, and I saw, as we were walking through just like the slot machines over to where the kids' stuff was, I saw this beautiful white Lamborghini Countach. It was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. I stopped to look at it. I don't think it had been very long. And when I went to follow again with this giant crew, they were nowhere to be found. So I was lost in Circus Circus. Okay. A security guard found me quickly, brought me over to security, sat me down, calmed me a little bit, gave me a little lollipop, right? My mom came running back in a panic. And my mom does not panic. She is, you can always count on her. She is steady Eddie. She was panicked. And that is the way a mom behaves when their child is missing, right? So yeah, that just seemed weird. Robbie, how would someone know that the kids were outside to take them? That's a valid point. I mean, it would have to be either planned or circumstance, right? Just refreshed on me again. Okay, let's see. Lori Lane says, our family farm is in rural western Pennsylvania. I am in western Pennsylvania. I like to think of my place as rural, but other people from here say, no, you live downtown. No one comes down our road other than the mail carrier. I think the odds that a car came by just as the children are outside are pretty slim. And that goes to the previous comment, right? Yeah. Murder Mystery Mama. Gavin, I have an autistic son, and he had a speech delay. If you had asked my family if he was verbal, there was a time I would have said yes, and they wouldn't have, simply because they didn't see him daily. Okay. Yeah, then you and I are on the same page there. McKiffin, there hasn't been any proof of there being a party. It was a post on Facebook about it. Thank you for that. I haven't seen anything about it. Gavin, I think what you're trying to say is that even if you're poor, it can be cleaned up to look nicer. Yeah, that's basically what I'm saying. Let's see. Tracy talks a lot. Some are saying the mom leaving is suspicious. In Canada, law enforcement releases very little info, and there will be loads more than we've been told. Maybe staying there with her partner was dangerous or not viable. Good comment. Good comment. Patty Olson, she said they were nonverbal, but say hi to everyone. I think she just said they were definitely verbal. I don't know. Let's see. One man's trash. Neither mother nor father give me addiction vibes. You will see very thin with sores and other signs. Just what I see here in North Carolina. Yeah, I'm glad that you said it, not me. I was in Walmart last night, and I saw a person from behind, and I said, oh, that person is struggling with addiction. And then when that person turned, and I could see the front, I could see the face and everything, it confirmed it, right? You can see signs, and they don't give me those signs either. Like when I look at Malia and Daniel, they do not look like people who are addicted to substances. I mean, yeah, they look like they're rural folks just working hard to carve out a living for themselves. That's what it looks like to me. All right. Just refreshed on me again. Hugging demons. Oh, we've got more demon hugging going on. Gavin, you should do an entire show as Baby Gavin. If I could do like some sort of Monty Python kind of puppet thing where the mouth is just like... I should. Dang it. It just refreshed again. Baby Gavin can be a bit puffed up. He is a cutie. He's a cute boy. He's a good boy and very well groomed. Any communication between mom and stepdad? I don't know. Bibliographer, to me it doesn't. It looks like he just has crooked teeth. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I mean, we can go through all this stuff. I'm grateful that we're talking about this tonight, but I do think we're kind of whooping on a dead horse here. Hey, have you guys noticed? Look at that, 123,000 people in our little community. That is pretty awesome. We will be back tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. There are a couple cases that we've really got our eye on closely that I think might have something breaking in the next day. But if not, I've got a couple new cases kind of in the hopper that I have been preparing to present to you guys. So tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, that is the normal time that we get together. Thank you for taking some time with me tonight. We've been at it almost an hour. I can't believe how quickly the time goes chatting with you guys. This is a case, though, before we just leave, this is a case that we will continue to keep an eye on. I really hope, I desperately hope that there is something that happens that like they just appear They were being held by somebody who is concerned about them in the woods, a grandmotherly, non-abusey type person. You know, my hopes aren't high on that, but I hope there's a little hope for me, just a little bit. Yeah. So anyway, you guys are still saying awesome comments. We don't have the time to finish it out. So for now, I guess I will say I bid you adieu, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay? Take care. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.